Overslept.
I can tell you if that was me, I would never admit it. Would you?
Not a chance.
There is no way.
I went in the
Especially
ditch.
to you, I went.
I went.
Give me the nod when you're ready there, Beth and Monty.
Give us a
and-
moment, yeah.
I just gonna get 2 Pepsi there.
Might be 3.
Set.
I think so.
We're ready.
All right, we'll call our meeting back to order. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and waiting for us during our closed session. Our next item is an open forum. I don't know if there's anybody in the back that signed in for anything. That's not requiring any action by the board. All right, no open forum today. Move on to our consent agenda, items 1 through 12. What are your wishes?
Move to
With-
approve.
With some added? Or they just a
No,
consent?
they weren't, they weren't
Okay.
on the consent. So we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 1 through 12.
Second.
A second. Any further discussion on the consent? Any other discussion? Hearing on all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. All right, move on to, I see that Neil is here in place of our sheriff today, so appointment of Christian Cheetah as Benton County Emergency Management Director.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to introduce Kristen Cheetah, our
Morning.
new Emergency Management Director. Today is her first day.
Awesome.
She comes to us, of course, with a wealth of experience with Stearns County, and also is a member of several Central Minnesota Emergency Management Committees. And of course, according to state statute, we would need to have the commissioner, or have you appoint her as the Benton County Emergency Management Director.
Very good. I'm gonna make a motion to do that.
I'm gonna second.
Right, we have a motion and a second to approve Kristen as our Emergency Management Director. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Kapinski?
Kristen, we definitely, it's been a road to get here, so we appreciate you joining our team and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did that too. I was privileged to sit on the interview committee with Commissioner Kapinski, and I think we're ready to go. So, thank you and welcome to Benton County. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Monty, present retirement award to Social Services Supervisor Bruce.
I shall turn this over to Bob Cornelius, Human Services Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I had thought that I would hand this over to Sandy Schoberg, as she has spent years and years and years with Bruce, but I think I have a couple thoughts just to kick it off here.
Okay.
Bruce has been one of the most conscientious, hardworking, and dedicated workers an employer could ask for. Bruce has been a dedicated advocate for his teams and the programs he has supervised, and has earned statewide respect for the knowledge and expertise he has developed in the Child Protection Unit. On a personal note, Bruce always took the time to make small talk with anybody who came in contact with him. He always addressed everyone by name and would ask how the person's family was. It was no easy task keeping up with all the staff changes, but Bruce always knew your name, no matter how new you were. Always a kind and caring supervisor, a community advocate, and a program expert, Bruce will be missed. I will turn it over to Sandy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've spent 33 years beside Bruce here at Benton County, and I could tell you a number of stories, but I'm guessing he would rather I not. But what I can tell you is that when staff have been talking about him recently, besides the stories that we're telling, they also are a number of words that keep coming up, and I was interested to see that Bob used some of the exact same words that I would use. So words that are used are responsible, hardworking, knowledgeable, kind, caring, and my favorite is they call him Smiling Bruce at times. I don't know if he even knows that, but that is one of the things they call him, Smiling Bruce, because he always has a smile on his face. The one word, though, that stands out most to me is dedicated. I don't think I've ever worked with anyone who's been as dedicated to their job as Bruce has been all of these years. It will be certainly a loss to the residents of Benton County and to the employees of Benton County to have Bruce retired. But I do wish him the best and hope he enjoys his new freedom out there with his wife and family. Bruce, I know you have a couple words you want to say.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Bob and Sandy, for those kind words. I'm not sure that I deserve them, but I thank you just the same. Commissioners, thank you. It's been my pleasure working for Benton County for the last 37 years. I thank you for your support of our Benton County child welfare programs. As you know, we have wonderful families in Benton County. However, on occasion, we have families that need our support and our services from our programs. And I thank the board for supporting these child welfare programs over the years and hope that that support will be able to be continued. I've appreciated the opportunity to work with many wonderful and skilled workers over the years. And I've enjoyed the people I've worked with and believe positive working relationships have really been the key to our agency's success. I've appreciated the leadership of the board as well. I've recognized how challenging the commissioner role must be. And I appreciate the role and each of you play in making those difficult decisions. Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to work for Benton County, and I wish each of you and our entire agency all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, would you please present this, and we have photographers have assembled, so you could actually.
Let's sit up here. Bruce, it's certainly my honor and privilege to congratulate you on your retirement and years of service to Benton County, 37 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Commissioner
it.
Johnson.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice.
We couldn't get one more out of them, huh?
37 years. Thank you. Wow, that's awesome.
Nice job.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next item, consider appointments to boards and commissions. Monty?
You're a little early, Bob.
Well, guess I'll go about it briefly. Of course, these were reviewed extensively at a recent committee of the whole, and some changes were made. And I'm hopeful that what you see in front of you is consistent with the consensus, or at least the discussion that occurred at that meeting. Again, these are all the various, most external boards and commissions that county board members serve on, either as a primary representative or an alternate. Some are required as a matter of being a joint powers organization, and some we're members by virtue of invitations, tradition, and much history. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Members, we've obviously met with this at our cow and gone over this extensively. Is there any discussion or a motion to approve it?
Mr. Chair, I definitely want to have the opportunity to bring the, God, what board was that? The court services, I believe it was,
Okay,
back. We talked about it at the cow, but after giving some consideration, I want to make sure that we have that opportunity to bring that back forward with communications I have with other counties
okay.
on items that pertain to that, so.
So as a future agenda item, maybe on next
Correct.
board meeting? Okay,
Yep.
Justice Committee.
Criminal, there you
Criminal
go.
justice, okay.
Yeah.
okay, good.
Thanks,
So,
Commissioner
Monty,
Hyman.
if you could please make a note about that for our next board meeting, Criminal Justice Committee, to have some further discussion on that at our next board meeting.
Of course, you bet.
Also, before we move into an approval of this, and I'm glad Bob's here early for this, and we can have a discussion about it later, but since I'm the alternate now for TRICAP, Commissioner Schlungen will be the lead on that. I'm gonna like to talk to your department about a potential person from Human Services to be the secondary lead. I'm the alternate, but before her and I were both on it, and I'm stepping away from that. So I'd like to have somebody from your department be the county board representative, in addition to Commissioner Schlungen. So you can think about that, we'll have some future discussion about that, and we can get back to Lori Schultz in regards to that. Okay, thank you. Any other discussion, or we need a motion and a second to approve these appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the appointments in front of us. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. I'll turn it over to Human Services Board Chair, Commissioner Heinen.
We'll now call to order of the Human Services Board. Approve or amend the agenda. Bob, do you have anything to add to this?
I have nothing else.
Board members?
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, item number 1, approve or amend the Human Services meeting minutes of January 3rd, 2023.
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bob, you have anything for us?
I have nothing else unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions for Bob? Okay, thank you much, sir.
Thanks, Bob.
At this time, we'll adjourn the Human Services Board at 9:52 and turn it back over to our board chair,
Thank you.
Johnson.
Thank you, Commissioner Heinen. Move on to Roxanne, Land Services Director. Conduct a public hearing to consider ordinance number 487, amending the Benton County Development Code ordinance number 477. Roxanne,
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr.
good morning.
Chair.
Morning.
Before you, we have a public hearing for ordinance 487, and this is an amendment to the Development Code for Public Utility Buildings. As you may be aware, we had some questions about lots for public utility buildings. And public utility buildings are defined as buildings or structures used or intended to be used by any public utility. And it's a pretty extensive definition, which could include water treatment plants, all the way down to public utility equipment, vehicles, parking lots for vehicles, storage facilities. So there's quite a broad variety of public utility buildings. And so when we started looking into this, we felt like there was a fluctuating size of uses and different types of uses. And so in the agricultural district, we thought that a 2-acre lot, which is our minimum lot size for any use in the agricultural district, might be a little bit much for, say, a 500 square foot public utility building. Yet that would be the required lot size. So we began conducting some research to find out if there were any other counties within the area that had allowed for special provisions for public utility buildings. We did not find that there was any special provisions allowed with any surrounding counties, but we did reach out to Scott Anderson of Rupp Anderson Squires. He's an attorney who regularly works with MCIT and other public entities. And he brought to our attention Carver County's zoning ordinance, which allows for an exception that requires it allows for the stipulation that the lot be large enough for structures to meet the required setbacks for known and future expansions. So you don't have to have a 2-acre lot. You don't have to meet that minimum lot size, but the lot has to be just large enough that it meets the minimum setback requirements. And so Michelle and I did review this. We felt comfortable and confident that this provision was fitting for Benton County to allow for these smaller lot sizes for public utility buildings. The stipulation would be that the lot still would need to be platted if it was under 10 acres, and that's standard throughout all of our zoning districts. Any lot less than 10 acres is platted, but it would allow for the lot to be smaller than 2 acres in size. Additionally, we felt that the setbacks could be reduced for the side and rear yard, but we would want to see it remain the same for the setbacks from our public roads and township roads, arterials, county roads, and that being the same as any other district. We don't have reduced setbacks for any of our zoning districts. The only regulation that may be different is our side and rear yard setbacks. So we felt that meeting the accessory structure setbacks was feasible and would be okay in this situation. So rather than being 50-foot setbacks for side and rear yards in our agricultural district, it would be 15-foot side yard and 30-foot rear yard setback. So there is a significant reduction in the required setback. One of the other things that we found through our research was that in all of the other counties, public utility buildings were set up as a conditional use permit, whereas we had them as a permitted use. And so we're proposing to move them as a conditional use permit in all districts except for the agricultural district. And that, right now, they're currently a conditional use permit in our residential, but we would move them as a conditional use permit in our commercial and our industrial district as well. And when you think about it, we have, those commercial and industrial districts are in our more densely populated areas. You generally have, development that's closer together, and so it may be more beneficial for our planning commission to take a closer look at these, what's around them, what's going on with this development, especially with the reduced setbacks, and possible smaller lot sizes, and being able to put on stipulations for those developments. So we would like to allow for them to be a conditional use permit in those districts. And again, that's not in the agricultural, it would be a permitted use in our agricultural district.
Thank you, Roxanne. Members, any questions for staff? I see that our Assistant County Attorney, Michelle Meyer, is also online with us today if you have any questions before we move into a public hearing. Any questions for staff? All right, thank you. We'll now move into the public hearing portion. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the county board on this specific agenda item? Again, this is for the amendment to the ordinance number 487. If you do, if you could please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Sarah Brunn on behalf of the city of Foley, 251 4th Avenue North Foley. Would just like to offer support, or we support this amendment. In the business of doing essential services like we do, we find ourselves often outside of the county for water, wastewater, many different things. It's just what we end up having to do at times. So I think this ordinance amendment is good. It provides us more flexibility to utilize property and to get what we need to get done, and that is to provide those services. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Anyone else wishing to speak in regards to this ordinance amendment? Anyone else wishing to speak? With any emails, letters, or other communications that need to be read into the record, Roxanne?
No, I will just mention that the planning commission did review this as a draft ordinance in December, and then at a public hearing in January. It was recommended that as drafted and provided tonight, or excuse me, today, that this be passed as drafted.
Nothing else from state agencies or other townships or cities?
No.
All right, and, so no other official action from the township at this point. All right, any further discussion with staff? And is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor, or excuse me, for the ordinance change in ordinance 47? Anyone that would like to speak to that? All right, our public hearing and that portion is closed. Members, again, any discussion with staff before we move on this?
I do believe we're going in the right direction with this. So.
Correct.
Absolutely. Very much needed.
Yep, and with that, I'll make a motion to approve the proposed ordinance and authorize the chair to sign.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the proposed ordinance change 47. Any other discussion?
487.
Yep, 47. Yep, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Move on to considering a resolution of support Sherburne County's application.
Thanks, Sarah.
Environmental Protection Agency grant dollars, solid waste infrastructure for recycling. Roxanne?
Sherburne County has approached us requesting a resolution of support for grant funds that they are seeking through the EPA. And we do have Gabby Holman with us. She is from Sherburne County. She can better explain the funding that they are seeking and how our support would benefit them in seeking those funds. Gabby, if you want to go ahead and.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. As indicated in the RBA, Sherburne County is intending to apply for the solid waste infrastructure and recycling grant through the EPA with the intent to subaward the dollars to an entity for equipment and or infrastructure for a regionally located source separated organic material facility. The purpose of the proposal is to reduce economical and geographical barriers that are preventing a lot of the counties in this area to expand their source separated organic programs. If awarded, the county would solicit a competitive request for proposals that would allow facilities to apply for either equipment and or infrastructure needs to expand their operations. We have reached out to surrounding counties who also wish to develop or expand their source separated organics programs for support of this application. So Sherburne County is requesting consideration and adoption of a resolution of support from Benton County for the Swiffer grant proposal. The Swiffer grant is a highly competitive grant, and obtaining new resolutions of support would strengthen the request. I do want to note that this resolution does not commit Benton County to any program development or waste diversion.
All right, thank you, Gabby. Any questions for Gabby or Roxanne? It's a pretty straightforward resolution, I think. Any questions?
Move approval?
Okay,
Second.
motion and a second to approve the resolution of support for Sherburne County. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Thank you, Gabby. Good luck. All right, Roxanne, Eagle View Commons.
Yes. So Eagle View Commons did host an all neighborhood meeting on January 10th, and they did receive 100% of the homeowners' approval to move forward with this. So
Great.
Corey Free, who is the HOA president, has been working closely with me, and he sent me the list that is attached, and I did double check that against what we have in our database. And so I would like to move forward with beginning this process, start working with preparing the documents related to the Ag BMP loan, have the county attorney's office review the Department of Ag lender agreement contract, and then set up the vendor account in the Minnesota Management and Budgeting System.
Great.
I'm not sure that there's a need for a cow meeting with the HOA. They've done what we've asked them to do, and that's to gain approval from all of the homeowners. And so I think that's a huge step for them. And I think they've, at this point, I think they've got a good understanding of what will be required of them, so.
Sure. Any questions for Roxanne?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Kapinski.
Roxanne, thank you for working on this. As we know, it is gonna be a task down the road for you guys, and your departments and stuff like that, as well as Michelle. Thank you for talking last week on this. A little bit of time, got the remaining 4 or 5 signatures, so. This is a great start and look forward to seeing it come to fruition.
I am too.
It'll be the first in the state, so,
Yeah, I'm glad we're able to offer this. for them.
yeah, yep, it'll be good.
All right, what are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to authorize staff to move forward preparing documents related to the Ag BMP loan program to have the county attorney's office review the Department of Ag lender agreement contract and set up a vendor account in the Minnesota Management and Budgeting System.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I won't reread that. I think you heard it all. Any other discussion? Again, thank you, Michelle and Roxanne, for your work on this. I think it's gonna be great for Eagle View Commons to be able to move forward. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Thank you. All right, Mr. Lloyd-Alt, you're up.
Maybe I can suggest we do the engineer's update last and the other 2 items first. Seems like
Okay.
engineer's update is always the wrap up.
Sure,
So-
that's fine.
And I
So-
gave Mark the 2 items. No, those are Mark's items.
They're still Mark's items, yeah.
Still you, Mark.
Regards to,
Well, maybe,
Casal one.
maybe they're collaborations, let's put it that way.
Sure. Good morning, Commissioners.
good morning.
Morning.
So, can we do the first one being the bonding one?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
So, again, I had some discussions with board members late last week about us submitting a request to the Minnesota Legislature to be included in a bonding bill for the Mayhew Lake corridor and what we call the Beltway or the Kasha 29 corridor. So I obtained information from Mr. Ron Bray from WSB and attempted to incorporate information from him into this resolution. And also I just sought his advice on how to approach this. And he recommended that we seek bonding for both as one sort of package. And that's reflected in this resolution. You may notice down at the bottom, towards the bottom, it has the estimated costs of both projects. The current estimate is as high as 19 million for the corridor, the Mayhew Lake corridor. That I believe is a fairly new estimate from Mr. Bray. And then you see secondly, the Beltway of 13.8. I took that number from the document which our board members took to Washington DC. As you may notice, I don't specifically ask in the down there for a specific amount from the legislature. That's probably subject to some discussion, negotiation. It simply says, hey, can you get us into a bonding bill? And that, I think, gets things started. So I think Commissioner Heinen wanted to be, somewhat responsive to Representative O'Driscoll, let him know where we stand on this issue, so.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Heinen?
sorry, Mark. This all happened in a short period of time. What was it, Thursday evening at 7:35? I've got a text from Representative O'Driscoll saying, where's the language? Because he wants to put this in the bill somewhere, somehow.
Okay.
So things went really quick. And then I contacted Commissioner Gopinski, and we've been working on this ever since.
Yeah, in talking with O'Driscoll, it looks like it's about a 50-50 split right now for bonding for state aid and county participation or group participation. So either way, it's good to get it in there.
And when you say group, you're talking like APO or something like that?
APO, it could be school district, could be city of Sauk Rapids, could be Benton County.
County, sure.
All the above.
Okay.
But this is a major project that definitely deserves some thought by the state.
Okay, thank you. All right, Commissioner Pop, did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay,
Sorry, Mark.
I think they're looking for a
Let Mark
action
go.
for a resolution on
think
this.
Mark
Mark,
wants
did you have
to-
something you'd like to say on it?
No, I think you guys covered the basis on that. Happened pretty quick.
Yep.
But we're definitely, I think, want to be aggressive in seeking any outside funding that we could.
Okay. What are your wishes, members?
We can just move approval of the CASA 1 Mayhew Lake Corridor Beltway 29 resolution.
Second.
A motion and a second for that resolution. Any further discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Okay, we'll move on to the second item. Monty?
I chime in on this one too. So you have a proposal that we received from Sambatech Engineering with Mr. Chris Bird representing Sambatech to provide the county some assistance in seeking all potential sources of funding for the Mayhew Lake Corridor and the Beltway Corridor. Chris gives you an estimate, I believe about $15,000 for this project. And also the last page provides the hourly rates for the Sambatech firm. As I noted in my agenda, I mean, that's why I like, if Mark could chime in on this one. I know he's been in discussions with WSB about their assistance to help us apply for a federal grant. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, I think you've got, an offer from the WSB to help you here, and you have an offer from Sambatech to help you there. It might be worth considering, do we want to utilize the services of one firm to represent us on this effort to get outside funding for both projects?
I would assume Sambatech would be able to do the federal writing also.
I think that's a fair assumption, yes, that the Sambatech could assist us in all manners associated with both projects.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Kapinski?
So, yeah.
If we go ahead and approve this contract with, is it Sambatech?
Sambatech.
If we don't utilize any of the hours, we don't pay them either. So, correct?
Right, it's à la carte, I suppose you would say, pay as you go, right?
Yep.
It's not like a fixed retainer, no.
And I think this dates back to what Commissioner Heinen were dealing with on Thursday is this is a quick turnaround deal for the bonding to be put in the 23. It's not gonna be able to get into 2022 because it wasn't a project back then when they didn't pass that bonding bill. But it does sound like the 2023 bonding, there is gonna be a 23 bonding year. So this would get in there. I think our goal is to set the county up the best we can with the option to utilize Sambatech as well as WSB, whatever makes sense. But if we don't approve this, then we don't have that option on this end
Sure.
to do that.
Well, I think we've got the unique opportunity to potentially to utilize senior project manager who has extensive background in Benton County.
Correct.
Yes.
Sure. And I would agree with you. He was part of this project from the startup, from the get-go with myself and Commissioner Gopinski. So it is very, very valuable to have somebody of that knowledge on board with us.
Not taking away anything with WSB and Ron Bray.
I just think, again, we have a unique opportunity
Yep.
here to utilize Chris. so.
Mark, could you fill us in on a little bit of details about the federal grant and like timeline and cost and all that?
Yeah, there is a opportunity to apply for a federal grant. It's called the RAISE grant, all capital case letters. Anyways, Commissioner Heinen and I have noticed this that has been available. It's due at the end of February. It's a very extensive application. You may recall the county had applied for what's called HSIP application, Highway Safety Improvement Program. That application itself just costed the county $2,000. This application is quite extensive compared to that. There's 8 criteria. There's a cost benefit analysis. They are estimating WSB, and I approached them. After reading it, I kind of determined that we would be eligible, and it would be 180 hours, which is estimated about 29,000 to actually do this application. You could say it's a high risk, high reward type of grant, meaning there's a lot of financial compensation up front. On the other side of things, you're eligible for $25 million if you would receive this application. I noticed the last time it was up in Duluth. They got awarded a project. MnDOT got awarded a project up in Bemidji, I believe. And I think there was one down in the cities. So anyways, I did reach out to WSB, and that's what they provided, specific just to this grant. The Samba Tech thing came in, I think, on Friday or Thursday, the proposal. But that wasn't geared towards necessarily any particular grant.
That's true, right?
Correct.
There wasn't a specific quote, no.
Mr. Chair, the question I have, Mark, for you is, can Samtech take care of this with us or not? Or do we have to go with WSB?
No, we're not tied because I think the APOs again, recall there was a Mayhew Lake Road study. I believe their contract ended at the end of the year. That I think is APO public material. So I believe Sambatech could use that in inclusion and going after money. So yeah, either firm I think can do that.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Kapinski.
I think once again, we've got the ability to utilize one firm or utilize, some work from Soundatech and WSB to make this come. There's a lot of money out there for transportation right now, and with the reason we went to Washington DC is this corridor project, as well as the County Road 1 going all the way to 23 is a huge traffic issue. Every intersection is above critical. And I think 5 of the 7 are actually the highest level there is in that area. So I think this whole project makes a lot of sense, and it is a high risk, high reward, but I think it checks all the boxes.
Mr. Chair, but we don't have a quote from Samatech
No,
for the total
what this one here is just so that they can be authorized to do work if we so choose.
Right.
If we authorize this and they don't do any work, they don't bill.
Oh, okay.
So
Because
it's not a guaranteed dollar amount. It's being able for them to, if we say, okay, we need to roll on this right now,
Right.
then they can charge hourly up until that amount.
Right.
If they use 0 hours, it's not being used.
Because, I heard 29,000 from WSB. I guess I'd be a little concerned having Samatech started and then come back with 49,000.
No.
I don't think that'll happen because we kind of know the people, but there is always that outside chance without having a firm, a firm bid from them.
Well, the way I would understand this is, as you said, this is gonna be kind of up to, and if they spend that, they're gonna have to come back.
Right, yeah.
And not only that is, it may be a partnership with WSB.
Right.
To where maybe Samatech out of that 29,000 puts in 5,000 of it. Just for the background, cause Chris was the county engineer before. You know, lot of, and he went to Washington DC with us, so a lot of background on that, as well as WSB and Ron Bray, so. I don't think that we'd be using everything here, and I don't think we'd be using everything on WSB if that went that direction. If people chose to just use WSB, then this is null and void. There's nothing, even if we approve it,
If, who would choose to use WSB?
if the board does.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I look at WSB's been around quite a while, and I don't know if are they looking friendly towards the new company that's came in or not? You know, you don't, I mean, there's some reserves about, do we want another engineering company in this area as far as WSB is concerned? That
So
would be my
Commissioner Pop,
concern.
am I hearing you say that you wanna pick one, not have both?
Right, I definitely wanna pick one, and I think the new one has got more leeway towards Benton County, more knowledge towards Benton County, maybe. I mean, WSB's been around a long time, they've done work for us in the past. But I don't know how that relationship is between them two yet. We know that Chris Bird can work with WSB, but he's not working for the county anymore, he's working for Samatech. So you gotta be a little cautious on the cost and will they work together? We don't have that much knowledge, there's not that much history here.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner
I agree with you, Commissioner Pop. I think one thing we have on our side is that he used to be our county engineer.
Right,
And he
100.
knows this project, and he also works with WSB very closely
Yeah.
too, even with his firm.
Even
right
with his
now.
new position?
Yep.
Okay, well, that would be a little bit of an ease to
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
deal that they work closely together with WSP, so.
I think there's a huge benefit to both of them at some part along this project, because with Chris's background, plus WSB has been around forever and knows all the funding sources. This project could be pulled out of a lot of different pools of money, the HSIP, the, what'd you just call that, the, reach?
Raise.
Praise, yeah, you know, not to mention there's Safeway to School,
Yeah.
there's just so many different pots that we can pull from.
But you gotta remember, there's a lot of people pulling out of these pots.
Oh,
You talk to
absolutely.
any and everybody wants the money, so your chances, just because there's a lot of money, I don't think are much greater than they were prior to. But I definitely would lean towards, Mr. Bird and his company to be the main one on this.
So Mark, Jared, Steve, or Monty, just to clarify for me, you know, looking at Sambatech, for seeking external funding, but WSB is kind of talking about proposing assistance with applying for federal grants. So does that mean we're gonna see a proposal from WSB for federal grant funding only, or is that, I'm trying to separate the
My
two here.
impression that WSB has offered its services very specifically for this raise grant.
Okay,
That's it.
That was
Whereas-
that's what
yeah.
I requested, was
Yeah.
specifically for this raise
So
grant.
as I read the Sambatech, it's more broad. It's, in other words, we're gonna work for you, and we're gonna go after any source of funding we can possibly get for you.
Okay.
Legislative, federal, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
It's more all-encompassing, I believe.
Yeah,
okay,
And
Thank you for the
Mr. Chair, that's
clarification.
how I took it too.
okay.
and just because this resolution was just passed, doesn't mean that that's the end of it.
Right.
We got a lot of work to do to get it in the bonding bill and stuff like that, and it's way above my pay grade.
Same here, this is our first step of the process.
Okay, so you just looking for some consensus to move forward with Sambatech?
Well, I guess whatever you're
Should
inclined to
probably
do.
have a
You do
motion.
have the agreement that Chris provided to y'all. You could certainly consider that if you're willing, if you're interested in proving that today. I was thinking about a source of funds. You know, we do have a pretty healthy commissioner contingency account. You may remember we moved
Yep.
resources over there from ARPA, so that's probably the source of funding I would look to for this project.
Okay,
And then on the raise side, we, at one point, maybe we should decide if we do wanna, go after that, because we do need to decide soon. Application is due at the end of February, February 28th, and that's quite extensive. We would, if we did want to pursue raise funding, we would need to authorize that pretty soon here.
So I guess
Pretty much today.
again, for clarification, I'm a little confused. So can we not ask Sambatech to do the raise?
Yeah, we could do that, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, that was my question.
okay. All right, so
The Samatech was 18,000, right?
15
15,000.
15.
in the current proposal.
Yeah,
But
but
there
that
was-
didn't,
yeah,
but
right.
that
I
didn't
know, I understand
include
that.
this, cause this just came up.
Yeah, and I spoke with Mr. Bird on Friday, and, yeah, it's just, this is more broad, not necessarily geared
So you can-
particular towards that particular grant.
Mr. Pop?
So you can more than less guarantee that the 15,000 is gonna increase to somewhat if he goes
If they
after
go
the raise.
Raise, right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so,
But at least it buys us some time.
yeah, yeah. I would make a motion that we go with Samatech
Okay,
as the primary one.
okay.
Second.
Motion and second, to enter into this agreement with Sambatech as presented. Commissioner Kapinski.
I just want to make a statement to basically say that we should really talk to Chris and make sure he's fine with this too, because it might behoove them bringing in Ron Bray to do some heavy lifting on that side of things. So in all fairness to Chris, we want to make sure that he's set to do this grant versus the Ron Bray. It could be a partnership,
Right.
so.
And I guess with that, I would assume that he would reaching out and create that
Yep.
partnership.
Yep, correct.
Okay. Any other discussion? We have a motion and second to approve Sambatech. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
And then may I ask clarity, should I give direction to pursue the raise grant?
Mr. Chair, I would think that I would mention it to Mr. Bird, and that would be his to go forward with that, I would think.
Yeah.
He should be aware of it, and that's probably why we're gonna hire him.
Okay, thank you.
Any other updates, Mark?
Do we want to save those for the end, or?
I think we've reached the end.
We've reached the end of your.
All right, good, good. All right, well, snowplows were out at 4 AM this morning. There were snowplows out yesterday. I did receive back, so at the last board meeting that I gave an engineer's update, there was discussion on the 23 construction project in the city of St. Cloud of utilizing our CASA 1 Mayhew Lake Road and County Road 3. For the detour route, I did get a letter, and at that point, it was 2 years of potentially using our road. They have now shrunk it down to May 1st of 2024 to November 1st of 2024. So it's no longer the 2 years that was discussed previously. So that's kind of the update on that aspect. I did send in applications for the CASA 2 reconstruction. That's through 7W, Region 7W, to obtain federal funds for that, as well as federal funds in CASA 3, that reclaim project from CASA 1, Mayhew Lake Road up to County Road 44. That's in the APO boundary. And then last week I did submit a request for federal money on 3 different bridges. Yeah, county here, we're actively pursuing outside funding on those aspects. And then the only other thing I had, I don't know if you wanted to discuss today, so I know we have the ditch authority meeting. It was requested to provide an update on local option sales tax. So do you want that to continue, or do you want to postpone that to another board meeting?
How long is the presentation on it?
Probably about, probably 5 to 10 minutes, so.
Any thoughts?
Maybe.
We got
Mr.
some
Chair.
people. Mr.
Yeah, we've
Chair.
got people
We got
waiting.
people
Yeah,
waiting for ditch authority.
I would recommend bringing it back to the next meeting.
That sounds
Can we-
great.
Can we do that, Mark? Great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Heinen.
Mark, we're gonna find out the first week of February if we got approved for that one grant for the roundabout.
That is correct, yeah. That's when I got email or confirmed response that it would be the beginning of February if we would get federal funding for that roundabout at CASA 29 and 1 Mayhew Lake Road. So hopefully we do.
That's a start.
Any other comments, questions for Mark? Just a shout out to your crew on highway. I know that they've had a lot of windshield time in the last month, so appreciate it. They're doing a great job.
Very nice.
All right, anything else? Anything else, Mark? All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna move into commissioner meeting updates. Anybody like to volunteer, or would somebody like to get picked?
I can go.
All right,
All right, I just got a couple, obviously Commissioner Heinen and myself last week, Thursday, Friday, we're working on the 29 County Road 1 corridor type deal, so a lot of hours on the phone between everybody, so, there was that. We had the St. Cloud APO meeting. Not a ton came out of that, other than I got the appointment for the ATP3 vote for APO.
great.
So I get a few more meetings.
All right,
So-
and a vote.
And a vote, yeah, actually
Get some more.
being something when I'm there now, I guess. But we got our first meeting, next Monday in St. Cloud.
Okay.
So, and there's a lot of money that's gonna be discussed, so. It's been a long time since we had anybody from Benton County as the voting member for the APO.
Good news.
Other than that, I've got the, NACO broadband meeting tomorrow, and, that's really about it.
All right.
The meetings are starting back up.
Commissioner Pop?
Just a couple of meetings here for me. One was, we had the MICA, annual board meeting. Couple of things that went out was and it already passed, was the federal conformity with federal tax going out. The state passed that right away. It's roughly $100 million. County program aid, they're working on with AMC to try and get each county more program aid. I don't know, they don't know if they'll be successful or not. You know, there's so many new legislators down there. Market value on homestead is one of our local senators, Senator Putnam is on that to readjust that or to look at that. And there will be transportation bills will be heard earlier in the deal, earlier in the session, they believe, than any other time in recent years. And then a big one is gonna be the paid family medical leave, if that's gonna, it sounds like there's enough votes there, and it probably will cost every entity some money if that happens. And the only other one I had is that I went to the Benton Sherburne County Corn Growers on the 12th, and Amanda was there from BEP. We just kind of were trying to support their membership. They've been a member in the past, but you never know if you don't show up and don't talk to these people. Sometimes it gets overlooked, but I think she had a booth and did a good job of milling with the people to make sure that we get the right people to send that, to pay their membership.
Good. All right,
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner
quick clarification, did you see me jumping on and off on that?
Yeah.
Was it, could you hear noise or
Nope,
anything?
no noise.
Okay, as you probably seen, I had some issues with my
Yeah.
with my iPad here, so I was going in and out of the MICA meeting, I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing, and cause you guys had a full crew down there,
Yeah,
and there was only probably 8 of us online or so.
yeah, I think there was 8 online. We're having 4 in-person meetings a year. We determined that. I don't know if you heard that part.
No, that
Yeah.
was probably when I was trying to get my,
Okay, yeah, so, the general consensus is that, you know, the Zoom meetings and the online meetings probably work as good for the amount of people that were there. There was a new person that I didn't get her name, but she's from St. Louis County. She evidently has a lot to do with human services up in St. Louis, cause Frank Jules did not seek reelection, so he had to come off the MICA board. And we do have a vote now on everything that happens because I'm one of the 4 executive committee members down there.
Great.
So we'll see how that works.
So we got another vote.
Yeah, we get another vote.
Good. Anything else?
Nope, that'll be
All
it.
right, Commissioner Schlangen?
I was on the RSVP meeting, and they're working with their Happiness in Action project and training people to work with that to help cheer up our seniors. They had a Martin Luther King Day event. have lots of, working with partners in the community for different events to help, with senior bullying and trauma and all problems that seniors have, to help them out. I was at the Benton Township meeting. Their person that does their assessments is moving on, so they're gonna be looking for somebody to do that. I don't know if they'll come to the county for help or try to get one to help with their commitments for taxes. I was at the criminal justice meeting. The jail continues to be short on staff, working with the guardianship, lengths of stays, and the detention center has been, continue to be using those beds, and they're wondering if we want to look at another one or not, but just if there's one available. Got anything to add to that, Steve, or?
Oh, keep going.
Okay. Then we were at the Career Solutions meeting. And they were honoring people for their years of service, working with the job club. They're working with the dislocated workers funds. And Steve got to be the chair again. I listened in on the U.S. infrastructure investment. They've got $4.5 billion in the IIJA for grants with local match. They're working on the charging stations along the interstate is the biggest push for the electric vehicles. And I think that was about it.
All right, Commissioner Heinen.
Great, thank you. So I had a meeting with the city of Sauk Rapids and with the EDA board that Commissioner Gopinski was with, just gave them updates. I've also had union meetings, of course, with Commissioner Pop. Career Solutions, actually, I've had 3 meetings. Yes, I am the board chair again this year. This is number 3, third year again.
Congratulations.
So hopefully next year that goes to Stearns County, of course. We're trying to take care of our accounting firm that we're working with. We had to get a new accounting firm. And then criminal justice, yes. So Deb Anderson does not have enough information right now. It's gonna take 2 years of information to see if we're utilizing our 1 bed or if it pays to go to a 2 bed for that program. That's all I had, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As you know, I was gone last week on vacation, so the only meeting I had was the week prior, Planning Commission. The only standout on that agenda was there was another 1 megawatt solar garden approved at Mark Cashmitter's property. They actually have a garden there already, and this one, is a little over 8 acres just to the west of that, and again, it's a 1 megawatt, site. Of course, we had our call with GLT, discussed our handbook and our appointments, so it was a good discussion for a couple, 3 hours, so. All right, anything else? Commissioner meeting updates?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner, please.
one more thing. I was talking with Stearns County, and these solar gardens are a major issue over there too. And they're hoping for potentially a little dialogue between us to figure out some stuff, so.
Good. Anything else? Commissioner meeting updates at all? Move on.
Yes.
Commissioner Schlangen.
The Minnesota Transportation Alliance is having their day at the Capitol on March 1st. And they suggest that other people come along too, whoever's interested in what's going on, so not just the one that's on the board or.
Okay.
Yeah, so they said, yeah, open it up to everybody.
All right, thank you. Monty, move on to setting committee of the holes.
Okay, here we go. We're due for the employee years of service recognition. I'd like to offer, again, these usually occur before board meetings, either February 21st or March 7th. What would be the preference?
I'm sorry, the dates again?
February 21st or March 7th? 7 a.m.
Okay. Or March.
7th.
March
7th.
7th, yep,
I'd go the
21st.
21st.
I'm gone that week, so
The
Commissioner, no, March
Oh.
7th, so Commissioner Kapinski. So I guess I'd prefer the February date.
February 21st. Okay.
Okay.
At 7?
7, we begin at the sheriff's office. Okay. Next, the Township Officers Association, excuse me, I guess we call it the spring meeting, Tuesday, February 16th at 7 p.m. Minden Town Hall.
That's. did you
I'm
say
sorry, Thursday, February 16th. Thursday, February 16th, 7 p.m. Minden Town Hall.
Yep.
You're invited to the GSDC annual meeting. It's also February 16th, that's a Thursday, 7:15 a.m. at Capital One. I believe that's in downtown St. Cloud. 7:15 a.m. Capital One. Lastly, we had some conversation last time about scheduling a city, county, township meeting, and it was suggested I speak with Amanda Othout and get her suggestions on what good meeting dates would be. So I have those from her. She suggests either the third Monday of the month or essentially on Thursdays. So the third Monday of the month or the first, second, or third Thursdays of the month.
And these would be PM meetings.
Yes, I believe that would be necessary to have that in the evening. So,
I know it's third Thursdays sometimes is the TriCap meeting.
okay.
So how about February 20th to start it off?
I remember some discussion a while back about having these in like May or June. That was my recollection, because obviously they already have, the township has their meetings early spring and then fall.
Okay.
So we were kind of thinking, sometime between those.
That's
So
fine.
May, June-ish, somewhere in there.
May 22nd?
That's a Monday?
Yep.
May
Monday, May
22nd.
22nd.
That works.
6:30,
I would say 6, yeah.
So
No
Monday,
earlier.
May 22nd.
6:30 PM? Where do you want to kick it off?
22nd.
Here, or would you like to?
Oh, you might have too many for here.
Okay.
Will we be the host here?
I don't know if we'll have too many for here or not.
I don't either. I don't know if we have capacity.
How about, can we
we-
keep on the Sock Rapids?
We
Sock
can
Rapids.
host it at Sauk Rapids, just gotta get in
Yeah.
communication.
Maybe if you
with them.
confirm with Sock Rapids City Hall.
Possibly the Sauk Rapids
Clearance.
Government Center,
Yep.
Community
Or
Room,
clearing.
or the clearing.
The clearing would work.
Either, okay.
Either?
Yeah, okay.
May
So we'll-
22nd at 6:30, and then you can let us know where.
Tentatively, Sauk Rapids, and we'll
We'll host,
confirm.
but it will be in Sauk Rapids.
Okay, okay.
I wonder if, are we gonna get a lot of participation with a lot of people
Being it
having
over
to
there?
drive all that way?
Probably not.
Would a more central
It's a
location
thought.
encourage greater participation?
So you're looking more of a town hall?
I'm thinking just for the fact that we're trying to make it easy for everybody. It'd be easy for me, but.
How about St.
that's-
George Town Hall?
That's a bigger place.
Yeah. Let's see if they would do it.
Check with St. George, please.
First.
Oh, sure, okay, maybe. We'll
St. George Town Hall. They could accommodate quite a few.
say, yeah. It's a pretty good sized room, yeah.
Let's start with that.
Okay. And last, I call Commissioner Schlangen just mentioned Transportation Day at the Capitol, March 1st. Do you have any more details for us? Like, kind of start time?
Mr. Chair, they will send
Yep.
something out
Yep.
to all the commissioners when that happens.
Yep.
They don't, they,
So-
they hit all the commissioners and every commissioner
Yeah,
in
it starts
Minnesota with
at 9 AM and,
Okay. So maybe between now and your next meeting, we'll have
Till
more
afternoon.
information. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Thanks, Commissioner Schlangen. We'll get some more information later on, like start location and,
it says Capitol
Stuff,
Ridge
so.
Hotel.
Okay, any
that's
other-
all we have. I believe
Anything
that's
else
it.
for the cows? Nothing else? Is there a
move to
motion?
set cows, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to set the committee of the holes. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I,
Opposed, that is carried. Anything else from commissioners? All right, we're adjourned at 10:42. We take a quick 2-minute recess and we'll get down to our ditch authority.